The first stop was an organic macadamia nut farm. It was kind of fun to learn more about macadamia trees and nuts and the process of how this company uses them organically. This is a sorting machine that after the nuts are taken off of the trees, they are put into this sorter, which has a narrow end at the top and wider ends at the bottom, and then there are bags underneath that will catch the macadamia nut according to the size of when it first can fit through those narrow bars. The shells are even crushed up and turned into sawdust or mulch, so it truly is an organic process. They had a product showroom where you could buy things such as macadamia nut flour and honey and oils, and they even gave macadamia nut oil massages. Another stop on our trip was Antigua, a beautiful city, a lot of fountains and horse carriages and history. It was a beautiful town, very colorful, fun to just walk around. We also enjoyed visiting the markets where, again, bright colors are visible. Here you'll see some pots that are made by local artisans, clothing that is for sale. Here you'll see a gentleman walking through the market carrying his items on his back and wrapped in bright colored blankets. These blankets are very common in Guatemala, and you'll see a lot of people using them to carry loads of wares, and even sometimes children. Children even as old as 4 or 5 will sometimes be strapped to their mother's back. It's quite common to see people carrying things on their head or even on their backs, extremely heavy loads that are strapped to their back and perhaps have a forehead strap to help distribute the weight. Our hotel accommodations in Antigua were a little nicer than in San Lucas Toloman. The hotel that we stayed at had a beautiful open courtyard, and you can see that the rooms were a little bit larger and had a few more accommodations. Had a great big guest entryway. But the one thing that remained consistent is not being able to drink the water, and in the bathrooms you had to be very careful not to brush your teeth with tap water or to make sure that your mouth was closed when you were taking a shower. There's a lot of bacteria that's carried in the water, so it can be very dangerous to consume even a little bit. Our hotel in Tikal even had a pool, although I don't think we spent very much time in it. We came to Tikal to visit the National Park of Mayan Ruins. It's located in the rainforest, and you can see here just the size of some of the trees in this rainforest. The trees are amazing, but the ancient Mayan ruins are what truly make this park spectacular. Here's a model of how they think the structures were laid out. Here's how the structures appear today. A lot of the structures have actually been overgrown with the rainforest, and so they truly don't even know how many buildings they are, as some of them are still being discovered. However, many of the temples are uncovered now and are right in the open, accessible for you to go right up to, and for some of them you can even climb up to the top. Here's temple number 4, which happened to be used in one of the Star Wars movies. And on the left-hand side you can see a wooden staircase that goes all the way almost up to the top. This is the preferred method of getting up to the top of these temples because the cement stairs, which you'll see to the right on this temple, are of course weathered, and because it's very steep, because it's the rainforest and it's very hot and humid, and because there's no railings on these concrete steps, they become very dangerous. So the wooden stairs were built in order to provide a little bit of added safety for people who want to go up and see the views from the top of these temples. And the views were spectacular. We actually had special permission to get into the rainforest after it closed so that we could go up to the top of one of the temples and watch the sunset. We had to have a special guide in order to do this, and the same guide met us in the morning, and we did the same thing. We went back into the national park and climbed the temple so that we could watch a sunrise. It was truly breathtaking. One of the things I remember from that early morning hike when it was pitch black was hearing the howler monkeys that were above our heads in the trees, and they kind of made these really scary noises. And so I was very happy when it became light out and I could see where I was in relationship to the forest and to the animals that were around us. And we saw a lot of different kinds of animals, from flying cockroaches, we called them, to scorpions, lizards, alligators, lots of red ants, and lots of stray dogs in San Lucas Toloman. And every once in a while we'd see a tropical bird, but most of them were in cages and not in the wild. Another really cool thing about Tikal was our canopy tour, which was zip-lining through the rainforest. You get strapped into a harness and connected to a wire, and then you literally fly through the forest, or sometimes above the forest. It's quite a ride. One ride I'm glad we didn't have to take was one on a chicken bus. A chicken bus is shown here in this picture and usually has both humans and livestock on it, and they're known to be a little reckless and not very safe. The last adventure I want to share with you was the day that we climbed an active volcano. The lava was still flowing from the volcano, and here you can see the smoke still coming from the top, and it was quite a long hike. We actually got to go quite close to the running lava, and here you can see we're standing on this crusted part of the lava, which right underneath it was the hot flowing lava that's the bright orange color. We could actually see it flow underneath our feet. We basically rushed out there, had our picture taken, and then got right off because one, I wasn't quite sure about how safe it was, but it was also very hot in the bottom of our feet. Anna had sandals on, but even my hiking boots got really hot. After we had our picture taken, we discovered this area that was kind of down in a crevice, and it was quite wide, but people had crawled down there and had written words and names. I kind of call it Guatemalan graffiti. And they did this knowing that the lava was going to eventually cover it up, and I thought that was kind of cool, so I wanted to include it here. So as you can see, I had many adventures during my time in Guatemala, but when it comes down to it, what matters the most are the people.